Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside.
Hey scrappers, Tom here. Today is Wednesday, December 7th, December 6th. No, December 6th, 2023, getting lost with the months flying by so fast. So here we are. We're the final countdown going into Christmas. We have 2 weeks left really of scrap selling. That week between Christmas and New Year's is generally a very light trading week when it comes to scrap yards, just doing year-end inventory. They don't get overly aggressive. We'll talk about some of those things later. But what we have seen the last few weeks is some really strong prices. We've seen some really nice reported prices, and we'll talk about copper shortly. We'll talk about steel prices. We've had so many people have been buying these magnets that we have available. So if you're looking for any scrap magnets, we have these available, so you can check these out. We get the link below, shop.iscrapapp.com. These are called 3-pound magnets because they're technically supposed to pick up 3 pounds, but we like these because they're just so strong. We put them onto these chains. I know I got to take that real quick, but just a suggestion for you. If you ever use your magnet often and you have a retractable keychain like this and you put it on the end, it's a great tool to be able to have on your belt, to be able to go off real quick, kind of like a pocket knife or anything else, but check those things out. So markets, let's just jump into copper. Virginia, if we could pull up the 30-day copper chart and some of the reported prices, we're going to go over some of these. Yeah, this is great. So here it is. Here's the copper chart, right? And I wanted to go over this first because I wanted to go over what's happened the last 30 days. So today is, December 6th, and we're trading at $3.80. Let's go all the way back to November 7th and look at where the prices were all the way there. We're looking at a market around $3.66. So about 14 cents has been added in the last month. But if we look at the high point that we saw a few days ago, that was around 391, 392. So if some of you were fortunate enough to catch that upswing, you had a nice jump. But we're still about 14, 15 cents up for the month. So if we can go over the reported prices, we'll see some of these increases that we've seen reported the last few days. And we'll start right with Bear Bright. 330, 327, $3, 310, 337, 327, 314. Very strong numbers the last few days. And what's nice about this is, it's nice to have an uptick going into December, especially before Christmas, and especially after a few month period where there hasn't really been a lot of things going on. So we can look at these things and try to come up with ideas, but week over week copper prices are slightly even, maybe down less than 1%, but we are seeing some nice movement. We can see some copper tubing numbers here, 320, 315, 280. And of course, if you look at the price at $2.40, that's why iScrap exists. Because if you're in Minnesota and you're getting 48 cents below the national scrapping average right now, you're losing money. And this gives you the ability to find out other materials that you're either making or losing on. So that's one of the reasons that iScrap exists, to be able to look at the market, learn about things, and really go from there. We had someone comment on YouTube, and it just said, I saw one of the largest copper buyers out of China filed for bankruptcy. They got caught with a ton of debt during COVID, and they don't think that's very good for the market. And that this was a link that was posted in Bloomberg. And when we looked at this, if this was a huge deal, we would have seen the markets go down 20 or 30 cents almost instantly. That didn't happen. So personally, I don't think that this is something that's going to disrupt the markets. We're talking about suppliers that didn't pay off their debts, right? So that isn't going to hurt the market unless they were supplying 30% of the copper to the world, which they were not. So we didn't really see that happen. And you're going to see this. People were overextending, taking out loans. If you guys remember about a year ago, we talked about one of the problems out of China, and that was with the Evergreen, I believe. And they were having problems because their finances due to their housing was going to have a huge problem. That still hasn't tumbled the way that we thought it was going to tumble. Everyone was worried. It was the talk of the market for a few days. couple weeks maybe, and we haven't seen that happen. So individual companies having problems isn't what we focus on. Market demands on a worldwide level are things that we focus on, and that's how we really look at materials. That's how we look at prices. We look at interest. The auto worker strike would have way more significance to me than an issue like a supplier going under. So, whenever you see news like this, please share it with us and we'll report back what we see, and kind of go from there. We also saw another mine that closed down in Panama, and some people are just asking how mine closures could affect the markets. And it's really interesting because I was reading another article, for mining out of Chile and out of Peru, two of the largest copper producing countries in the world. And their mines are so deep and so full, and they have so many opportunities that it was either the CEO or the CFO was saying, we won't open up new mines, which we have and we have ready to go into until we start to see copper prices in the $4 to $5 range again. So one mine shutting down, that doesn't really concern me. Again, if they supply 20% of the world's copper, 10%, 5% even from a singular source, yes, that would have a market impact. But when we see smaller closures, mines have finite lives. Even if there's more copper inside or iron ore or any other type of metals that they're looking for, sometimes the juice no longer becomes worth the squeeze because the work that it takes to get the material out of the ground at current prices might not offset, because a lot of these mining companies, they know that their overhead might be $2.50 a pound. So the first $2.50 of copper that they're selling just covers their mining operations, their overhead. I'm making these numbers up, and they might want $1 a pound profit to sell it at $3.50 or something like that. And when the markets are lower, it's not worth their time. So mines closing up, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, think about this. How many grocery stores have you seen close up? Here in the Northeast, about 8 years ago, there was a big chain that shut down, and there was about 30 or 40 grocery stores that just went out of business. Everyone continued to eat. Why? That business was pushed to other grocery stores. So the mining, you shut down one mine, another mine could be open, another mine could be able to turn up their production. And generally, companies don't own one singular mine, they own a group of mines. So if they don't think that that one's making money anymore, they'll shut it down. It's happened in Arizona, in Chile, Panama, in Peru, in many other countries that are heavy into mining operations. So these are normal events that happen, but we love seeing scrappers reading about this because it helps feed us. It helps us understand what you're looking for. So copper price wise, we are very strong. Things that you might want to think of going into December. Scrapyards, certain scrapyards do inventory the last week of the year. So really important to think about, because going into Christmas, some scrapyards will start to get less aggressive when it comes to their purchasing, because they know that they're going to be liquidating their inventory and doing a full inventory the last week of the year. Many scrapyard friends of mine shut down to the public the last week of the year between Christmas and New Year's, and a lot of traders no longer trading because it's such light production that week. They'll do inventory and they won't buy material from customers, or they'll drastically reduce their prices because they're not looking to really make money that week and they're trying to push customers away because they're trying to focus on inventory. These are different things that you can look at. If your scrapyard is not like that, like my scrapyard does not shut down during that week of Christmas and New Year's. We're open for 3 days. That's somewhere where you might want to learn, hey, anything going off the market? Do you have any special prices? Those are things that are going to help you learn more about, where the markets are locally, as well as using, if we could pull up the copper prices again, using the reported copper prices, that's going to be another tool that allows you to make more money. When you look at this green kind of down the board here, that just shows you that prices are up from dirty ACRs to clean ACRs to regular copper tubing, dirty roofing copper, insulated wire, light copper. These are all markets that are up right now. So by checking into the reported prices that other users have had, that's just going to help you really know where the markets are going moving forward. So let's look at a couple of other things. Let's talk about steel, and we'll bring up some of our ferrous prices. We'll stay right on this page. Another really nice surprise. We've seen steel prices go up about $10 an average. If you look on the top of the screen, just scroll up slightly, please. We have a national steel average of $217. And when you look at some of these heavier grades here, you have number one HMS at 220, 229, 235. So we're looking at that prepared number creeping above the 200 spot again, cast iron going up. And the real bellwether that we really gauge a lot of our prices off of is light iron because it's so heavily reported. But if we can go back, we can go to, I believe that we have another category, either shred or just a regular steel price, and that's going to be scrap, yeah, or scrap iron even might be one that we can look at. This is our shred. Again, look at the last few days, 160, 135, 170, 125, 7 cents. These markets are climbing. 20% increase in the last 30 days, almost $155 a ton for shred light iron type of mix right now. That's a great change. We're talking about a change of $25 to $40 a ton. Why has that happened? Well, there's been multiple factors. Oil prices have decreased. We've seen supply of oil that have reported increased. So that's caused people to say, okay, we're not running out of fuel. Maybe we can run it a little cheaper. Other market pieces of news. I look at a lot of large trading companies. A lot of large trading companies, they have a big demand. I read about, I believe it was Nucor or Steel Dynamic, I forget, but their cold rolled steel price, their new production, went up 50% in about 2 months. What does that mean? They didn't have enough material and their demand drastically increased. So they started buying. Domestic buying, domestic equals inside of the US or inside of Canada, depending where you are, right? Versus export is really important. When the domestic demand for steel continues to stay up, that pushes up the worldwide markets from the United States. When the domestic market ticks down, that pushes the export prices down because now the exporters know, hey, listen, the demand inside of the United States is not very strong right now. We don't have to overpay for scrap. But when the demand picks up in the United States, which is what we're seeing right now, look what happens. 45 days, $45 a ton were essentially added on if you scroll back. So when you have a huge increase like that in a 6 to 8 week period, take advantage of those things. I'm not holding on to any material. It's never been my philosophy. I get it in, I get it out. And I know that many of you have different philosophies just because of the seats that we sit in. My advice to you right now, get rid of everything. We're going into an election cycle. We're going into a new year. We're going into market insecurities. Take stainless steel, for example. Stainless steel prices, if we can pull those up, have seen nickel prices continuing to be on the decline almost weekly right now. When we look at our stainless prices, which nationally are around 28 to 33 cents, we're seeing nickel prices that have dipped down. We went over this last week, excuse me, 35 to 40%. So with the nickel prices down, stainless down, right? Copper slightly up, steel slightly up. Sometimes you need to know when to kind of just cut your losses, right? And if we go to regular stainless steel at 30 cents right in the middle there, or non-magnetic, whichever we have, at 30, 31 cents, excuse me, those prices, 30, 20, 23, 25, look at how consistent they are. Really no change in the last 30 days. Markets are down slightly, but nickel's another item in stainless. Get rid of it. Goodbye. Goodbye, stainless steel. Goodbye, nickel scrap. Get it out of your garages, out of your storage, and go and sell it and move on to something else. Now, I'm going to move on to something else, and that is catalytic converters. and my chair has wheels, and I certainly could start spinning around right now. Maybe I will, because that's what I feel like is going on with these silly markets. Virginia, if we could pull up our cap prices, please. Our cap prices have been so strange. Platinum down 3% in the last week. Palladium down 8.5%. Rhodium even. National average $74 through rrcats.com. So let's click on that national average and just look at how it's moved the last few days. The national average has been pretty strong. You know, we've had some prices moving a little bit. We've had
and a down and a down and an up. You know, look at what we see: 30 days, $80. Current price, 74. So quick math shows me that we're having what, about a 8% decrease in the last 30 days. I don't know what's going on with prices. We did see a little bit of a buoy from the auto worker strike kind of, you know, settling itself out. We've also seen a lot of different market news. What have we seen? I saw Governor Whitmer out of Michigan yesterday saying that the entire state's fleet is going to be electric for their light cars by like 2033 and for their medium trucks by 2040 or something like that. And who knows what's going to happen? Then you see states like Connecticut repealing some of their electric vehicle mandates. So catalytic converter prices, I personally think that they are lower than they're supposed to be. But I do think that we're starting to see an auto correction of a market that got overinflated for a year and a half. rrcats.com has been quoting throughout the last, 4 or 5 years, and these prices are kind of where they should be after the big inflation. But I do think that we're going to see these markets grow. But if you're looking to move your catalytic inverters, and we've run queries before, and most people sell their cats in the first day or two. We have free shipping on all OEM catalytic inverters, whether it's a $20 cat or a $200 cat, free shipping with insurance on your OEM cats. We hold our prices for 10 business days, and we even have promotions right now where over $200 of sales have all PayPal fees waived, so you don't have to wait for that check to come in the mail. And we also have a really cool special. If a lot of you have been a little scared before to sell to us, we have a 10% price boost for first-time customers this month. What does that mean? You get a quote for $200. You send it in. Not only are you going to get that $200 quote honored as long as the cat is full, you're going to get PayPal fees waived, and you're going to get an additional $20 on there for a $220 payout, just to show you how efficient and clean the system is. So we look forward to earning your business when it comes to a lot of these catalytic inverters. Now, we've talked about all types of stuff, and I'd like to give everyone an idea over the next 2 weeks. If you have questions you want me to answer, what we're going to be doing for the balance of this year. A week from today is going to be the 13th, so we have our regular weekly report. 2 weeks from today is going to be the 20th. We will have our last weekly report of the year. But following that, going into the new year, we're going to have our recaps of our A, B, C's of the scrap metal world. We're going to have a video talking about aluminum. We'll have a video talking about brass, video talking about copper, video talking about steel. Probably have another C in there talking about catalytic inverters. If you have questions for us, please ask us in the next 2 weeks. We'll be filming these videos after the 20th to give us, all 2 weeks to be able to get customer feedback, both at Rockway Recycling on what they want to hear, user feedback from you on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is. Let us know what you would like us to talk about, you would like us to recap and preview for 2024, and we will do just that for you. So again, 2 more weekly reports after today, and then we'll have some 2023 recaps and 2024 previews. So please ask away. Markets are strong. You're looking for them. Check out iScrapApp.com. Download it again. Who doesn't need a magnet? And I know that it's nice to have, your magnets that come out of like speakers and stuff. But when you can have a tool like this, check out our link below where you can buy these. And again, this is a really great idea to be able to have that magnet on, right? Boop, 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 boop. It makes it nice and easy. So, we look forward to hearing your stories and hearing your questions. And until next week, scrappers, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video.
For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.